Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Goodman. Thank you very much. It really felt good for him to stand on that stage and host Saturday Night Live for the 5th time, a place that once rejected him and later welcomed him as a legend. In 2023, John Goodman walked outside and something strange happened. Almost no one recognized him. The man who once weighed over 400 pounds seemed to have disappeared. In his place was someone nearly 200 pounds lighter. People thought it was just about eating better and exercising more, but the truth went much deeper than that. Back in 2007, John Goodman reached a moment where he had to make a painful choice between continuing the way he was living or staying alive. That year changed everything. What he faced in rehab forced him to confront parts of himself he had ignored for decades. Even the people closest to him did not fully understand what he went through. The photos of his weight loss only show the outside change. Behind that transformation was fear, struggle, addiction, and a fight to survive. John Goodman was born on June 20, 1952, in Afton, Missouri. His life started with hardship almost immediately. When he was just 2 years old, his father, Leslie Francis Goodman, suffered a fatal heart attack in 1954. That sudden loss broke the family apart emotionally. His mother, Virginia, became the only support for 3 children. She did whatever work she could find to keep food on the table. She worked as a waitress, worked retail jobs, and even took in laundry late at night. There were times she worked 2 shifts back to back because she refused to let her children go hungry. John grew up watching her exhaustion and strength, and that environment shaped him deeply. As a child, John was shy and quiet. School was not a safe place for him. Other kids teased him constantly about his size. They called him big. They called him fat. They made sure he heard it every single day. Those words stayed with him and became part of how he saw himself. He carried that pain silently. One of the few places where he felt some peace was in the Boy Scouts. The older men there treated him kindly and with respect. They gave him a space where he was not laughed at or mocked. Those moments mattered more than anyone realized at the time. The bullying never truly stopped. It followed him through childhood like a shadow. He remembered being pushed, tripped, and embarrassed during recess. One moment stayed with him for years. In 5th grade, a group of boys knocked him down in the cafeteria and laughed as he tried to stand back up. He did not fight back. Instead, he learned another way to protect himself. He discovered humor. He started making jokes before others could target him. Becoming funny gave him control. If people laughed with him, they were less likely to hurt him. Over time, that humor became his shield. Later in life, he admitted that his acting style came directly from those early years. He learned how to make people like him before they could reject him. By the time he reached high school, the pain was still there, but he had learned how to hide it. A quick smile or a joke helped him survive. The fear of rejection stayed with him well into adulthood, but it also allowed him to connect deeply with characters who felt broken inside. At Afton High School, he found football. He played offensive guard and defensive tackle. At 6'2", his size finally worked in his favor. He worked hard enough to earn a scholarship to Southwest Missouri State University in 1970. For a short time, he believed football was his future. Then everything ended suddenly. During practice in his freshman year, he tore his ACL. The injury destroyed his chances of continuing the sport. He felt lost again. While recovering, something unexpected happened. He wandered into the drama department. He took a few classes and stepped on stage for the first time. Something clicked. Acting made him feel alive in a way football never had. He studied alongside future stars like Tess Harper and Kathleen Turner. By 1975, he earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in drama. He was ready to chase this new dream, even though it came with no guarantees. After graduation, John moved to New York City with just $500, money his older brother Leslie Jr. gave him. He rented a tiny apartment in Hell's Kitchen, an area known at the time for crime and struggle. Life there was hard. He waited tables, tended bar, and worked as a bouncer when needed. Sometimes he slept on friends' couches when he could not afford rent. He went to countless auditions and heard no again and again. In 1980, he even auditioned for Saturday Night Live and did not get the job. He later described those years as purgatory. Nothing seemed to move forward, but quitting never felt like an option. Slowly, small jobs came his way. Voiceover work, commercials, anything that paid enough to survive another month. Then everything changed with one simple commercial in 1979 for Men & Skin Bracer. He slapped his face on camera and said, "Thanks, I needed that." The line became famous. The ad aired more than 500 times across the country. Suddenly, people recognized him. For the first time, he had steady work and proof that the world was noticing him. In 1985, he reached Broadway. He played Pap Finn in the musical Big River, based on Mark Twain's story. The show opened in April and ran until September 1987. John poured everything into the role. Critics praised him, and he earned a Drama Desk nomination. The musical won the Tony Award for Best Musical. For the first time, John felt real momentum. Film roles followed. He appeared in small parts in movies like Revenge of the Nerds, Sweet Dreams, and True Stories. Directors noticed his ability to be funny and intimidating at the same time. Everything exploded in 1988 when he became Dan Connor on Roseanne. The show premiered that October and quickly became one of the most watched shows in America. Dan Connor felt real. He worked hard, struggled with money, and loved his family deeply. Millions of viewers saw themselves in him. The show ran until 1997 and changed television storytelling. John won a Golden Globe in 1993, proving he was far more than just a sitcom dad. While his career soared, his personal life was quietly falling apart. Fame, pressure, and old wounds pushed him toward alcohol. His weight continued to climb, and his health suffered. By 2007, things became dangerous. He entered rehab, not just to quit drinking but to save his life. Inside rehab, he faced truths he had avoided for decades. He realized his eating habits, drinking, and self-destruction were tied to the pain he carried since childhood. After rehab, he changed everything. He quit drinking, changed how he ate, and committed to long-term health. The process was slow and painful. He worked with trainers, adjusted his lifestyle, and faced emotional struggles without using food or alcohol as comfort. Even his wife did not fully understand the depth of his battle until years later. As the years passed, his body changed dramatically. But more important was the internal shift. He learned to forgive himself, to let go of shame, and to accept who he was beyond his weight. When people saw his transformation years later, they were shocked. Few understood the darkness behind that change. John Goodman continued working steadily, returning to Saturday Night Live multiple times and becoming one of its most beloved hosts. He appeared in films with the Coen brothers, including Raising Arizona, Barton Fink, The Big Lebowski, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Each role added depth to his legacy. He moved easily between comedy, drama, and character roles. Today, John Goodman's story is not just about success or weight loss. It is about survival. It is about a shy, bullied child who learned to use humor as armor, a struggling actor who refused to quit, and a man who faced addiction and fear head-on to reclaim his life. His transformation is not just physical. It is the result of decades of pain, growth, and resilience, and that is the part no photograph can ever fully show. Marshall encouraged John Goodman to take the role, and it turned out to be a perfect choice. Goodman brought a grounded, confident presence to the chaos of the story, giving it weight and balance. By the late 1990s, he was collecting roles that proved he could command attention effortlessly. In Blues Brothers 2000, released in 1998, he played Mighty M. McTarr, a soulful singer whose voice filled the gaps left by others, making the character unforgettable. Then in Bringing Out the Dead in 1999, directed by Martin Scorsese, he became Detective John Zay, a volatile paramedic whose rough edges made the film feel real. In Fallen, also released in 1998, he played Detective Edwards alongside Denzel Washington. Although the movie touched on supernatural elements, Goodman grounded every scene with human depth. Without needing to announce it, he showed his range through sheer presence, timing, and voice. People often said he could steal a scene just by walking into it. His ability to be funny, intimidating, warm, or threatening came naturally. In Raising Arizona, he was both amusing and frightening. In Barton Fink in The Big Lebowski, he could switch between moods seamlessly. Films like Arachnophobia and Always highlighted his skill in supporting roles while leaving a lasting mark. With Fallen, Bringing Out the Dead, and Blues Brothers 2000, he proved that no matter the genre or budget, he could elevate an entire film by simply being in it. When the 2000s arrived, Goodman's voice became a home for millions of viewers. In 2000, he voiced Pasha in The Emperor's New Groove, bringing warmth, trust, and humor to the character. In 2001, he became Sully in Monsters Incorporated, a performance that helped the film earn over $560 million worldwide and become the second highest-grossing animated movie of that year. He returned to the role in Monsters University in 2013 and again in Monsters at Work in 2021, keeping those worlds alive for new generations. In 2007, he voiced Leighton T. Montgomery in B-Movie, giving the character a sharp and memorable edge. In 2009, he voiced Big Daddy Labu in The Princess and the Frog, helping Disney revive hand-drawn animation and tell the story of its first black princess. His Southern charm helped shape the feel of New Orleans in the film, giving the city life and personality. Sometimes his voice work surprised audiences in smaller ways too. In 2001, he became Robot Santa in Futurama's Christmas Story, a frightening machine wrapped in holiday colors. In 1995, he was the original voice of the yellow M&M in an early animation, before being replaced by J.K. Simmons. Starting in 2007, he became a familiar voice in Dunkin' Donuts commercials, guiding audiences without them even realizing it. Even in advertising, his voice carried authenticity and charm. On television, Goodman continued showing depth and versatility. In The West Wing, he played Speaker Glenn Allen Walken, who later becomes acting president, during 2003 and 2004. His presence brought seriousness and realism to the role, earning praise from critics and viewers alike. In 2007, he won an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series for his work as Judge Robert Beebe in Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. It was a competitive year, but his performance stood out as one of his most respected on television. His connection to New Orleans deepened through his work in the series Treem from 2010 to 2013, where he played Croton Burnett, an English professor grieving after Hurricane Katrina. Goodman had been involved in recovery efforts following both the hurricane and the Gulf oil spill, so his commitment to the city was personal as well as professional. His character fought for New Orleans with a mix of anger, love, and heartbreak. In one memorable scene at Tulane University, he passionately defended the city, a performance that felt like a direct message from Goodman himself. His on-screen work mirrored his real-life dedication. Goodman achieved rare milestones in film during the early 2010s. In 2011, he appeared in The Artist as Al Zimmer, the studio chief during the silent era. The film won Best Picture at the 84th Academy Awards. The next year, he appeared in Argo as John Chambers, another film that won Best Picture at the 85th Academy Awards. 2 consecutive Best Picture winners with Goodman as part of the cast was a remarkable achievement. During the same period, he also appeared in Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close in 2011, cementing his place among the biggest films of the decade. Throughout the 2010s, Goodman kept moving between film, television, and stage work. In 2012, he joined Flight alongside Denzel Washington, playing a character blending humor and danger while struggling with addiction. He appeared in The Hangover Part 3 in 2013, followed by The Monuments Men in 2014 and Trumbo in 2015 as Otto Preminger. In 2016, he delivered a tense, gripping performance in 10, Cloverfield Lane, turning a small bunker into a space filled with drama and suspense. He followed that with roles in Patriots Day and Atomic Blonde in 2017, moving effortlessly across genres without slowing down. television continued to offer new opportunities. In 2013 and 2014, he starred in Alpha House on Amazon as a senator from North Carolina. The show was ahead of its time in streaming, and critics praised its sharp political humor. He also became the voice of Hound in Transformers: Age of Extinction in 2014 and again in The Last Knight in 2017, proving his voice was as iconic as his on-screen presence. Goodman returned to the stage as well. In 2015, he made his West End debut in American Buffalo at Wyndham's Theatre, performing from April to June alongside Damian Lewis and Tom Sturridge. In 2016, he returned to Broadway in The Front Page with Nathan Lane and John Slattery. The applause reminded everyone that he could still command a live audience at any moment. Disney honored him in 2013 as a Disney legend, celebrating his long-standing work with the studio. In March 2017, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6767 Hollywood Boulevard, coinciding with the release of Kong: Skull Island. Standing there, smiling and accepting the applause, Goodman's career spanning more than 4 decades felt fully recognized. It was a moment that summarized his life: decades of hard work, resilience, versatility, and the ability to leave a lasting mark on film, television, stage, and in the hearts of audiences everywhere. Through all the challenges, from childhood bullying to personal struggles, addiction, and health battles, John Goodman built a career defined not only by talent but by perseverance. He could transform a role, command a room, and give depth to any character he touched. His work across genres, from comedy and drama to voice acting and stage performance, proved that his presence was unforgettable. He became a figure whose name carried weight, whose voice brought warmth and authority, and whose story inspired anyone facing adversity. Goodman's life and career are reminders that talent, combined with resilience and heart, can create a legacy that lasts generations. A voice people trusted and a presence that could carry any story, John Goodman proved time and again that he was more than just an actor, he was a force of nature. When the Roseanne reboot premiered on May 16, 2018, Goodman slipped back into the role of Dan Connor as if he had never left. He appeared in all 10 episodes, steady, familiar, and keeping the heart of the show beating. But just days later, everything changed. On May 29, Roseanne Barr posted a racist tweet about Valerie Jarrett. ABC reacted immediately, shutting down the show, calling the comments abhorrent and inconsistent with their values. It felt like a door slamming in the middle of a story. Still, Goodman and the rest of the cast didn't freeze. They acted fast. Within months, they signed on for the Connors, and by October 16, 2018, the new series stepped into the gap left by Roseanne. Its premiere pulled in over 18 million viewers, proving that audiences weren't ready to let go of the Connor family. The show mirrored real life by opening with Dan's sudden heart attack, and Goodman's calm presence steadied the shift. Fans kept watching because he made the family feel whole again. The Connors ran from 2018 to 2025, producing 110 episodes across 6 seasons. Roseanne's character was written out with an opioid overdose, reflecting a real crisis happening across America. Goodman's performance captured the honesty of working-class life, keeping the series grounded no matter how dramatic the stories became. In 2023, the show celebrated its 100th episode, cementing its place as a modern family sitcom that still had meaningful things to say. While working on the Connors, Goodman also embraced a very different role as Eli Gemstone on HBO's The Righteous Gemstones, which premiered on August 18, 2019. The show was chaotic, loud, and twisted, but Goodman settled at its center like a storm disguised as a preacher. Eli was flawed, loving, stubborn, and complex, and Goodman brought a rough warmth that critics praised. The show continued into multiple seasons, with the third airing in 2023. He also appeared in Monarch: Legacy of Monsters in December 2023 as Bill Randa and lent his voice to the 2025 Smurfs reboot. His late career choices spanned genres effortlessly, showing that he wasn't slowing down, he was expanding. Off-screen, his personal life carried its own glow. In 1987, at a Halloween party in the New Orleans music club Tipitina's, he met Anne Hartzog. She walked up and simply said hi, and something clicked. Their courtship quietly unfolded for 2 years until April 1988, when he proposed at the edge of the Mississippi River in the French Quarter. They made it official at a jewelry shop before walking to the river to seal the moment. Their wedding came in November 1989 at St. Charles Avenue Presbyterian Church with 650 guests, including Roseanne Barr, Bruce Willis, and Demi Moore. They boarded the Creole Queen for a 3-hour river cruise afterward. Their daughter Molly was born in 1990 and later joined the film industry herself. Over 35 years later, their marriage has remained strong, an anchor in a world where so many relationships falter. Goodman settled in New Orleans' Garden District in the late 1980s and built a life deeply tied to the city. When Hurricane Katrina struck in 2005, he became an active part of recovery efforts, appearing in ads and messages urging support for the city. Later, in 2010, he played Eli Lemon Batist in Treem, a role informed by the city's music, grief, and resilience. His personal connection to New Orleans gave his performance authenticity, making him a voice of the community during long years of rebuilding. Even in moments of personal loss, Goodman stayed resilient. A lifelong St. Louis Cardinals fan, he narrated the 2020 documentary Birds of a Different Game, exploring the team's successes in the 1980s, including the World Series wins in 1982, 1985, and 1987. But tragedy struck in January 2025 when the Palisades fires destroyed his home along with hundreds of others in Los Angeles. Even then, Goodman continued working, appearing in the Connors and standing at the center of the righteous gemstones. That kind of resilience comes from years of learning to remain steady when life shakes. Goodman's most significant personal battle, however, came decades earlier. Alcoholism shadowed him for nearly 30 years. During the height of Roseanne and his major film career, he drank to manage pressure, to fill silence, and eventually out of routine. By the late 2000s, he began missing rehearsals, slurring lines, and his body started to shake. Something inside him said enough. In 2007, he entered rehab, leaning on his wife's support, embracing Alcoholics Anonymous, and committing fully to recovery. He has admitted that even now, he sometimes dreams about drinking and wakes up uneasy, but the feeling fades more quickly each time. He credits that decision in 2007 with saving his life. That same year, Goodman turned his focus to his body. He started working with trainer Mackie Shilstone, who had trained elite athletes including Serena Williams. Alcohol and sugar disappeared from his diet. He embraced Mediterranean eating, olive oil, fish, vegetables, whole grains, and less red meat and processed food. Exercise became part of his daily routine, walking 10,000 to 12,000 steps 6 days a week, using treadmills and ellipticals, and boxing when possible. By 2010, he had lost nearly 100 pounds. By 2023, he had reached a total loss of 200 pounds, proudly showing the transformation at events like the Monte Carlo TV Festival. He kept a journal of his meals, focused on consistency, and emphasized creativity over restriction. Fresh food made him feel lighter, and returning to daily walks gave him rhythm and grounding, even when work got chaotic. For Goodman, the transformation wasn't about shock or attention, it was about feeling alive. Across more than 40 years, John Goodman built a rare career, moving seamlessly between comedy and drama. He appeared in Raising Arizona in 1987, The Big Lebowski in 1998, and Monsters Incorporated in 2001, each time feeling like a new person built from the same familiar voice. He is the only actor to appear in 7 Coen Brothers films, and his work on Roseanne across its original run and the revival earned him 7 Emmy nominations and a Golden Globe in 1993. He continued taking on voice roles, stage performances, and dramatic parts, expanding his range further with every role. His awards reflect the consistency and versatility of his career, a Golden Globe in 1993, an Emmy in 2007, a Disney Legends Honor in 2013, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2017. He earned 17 Emmy nominations overall and received a Saturn Award for 10, Cloverfield Lane. Saturday Night Live trusted him repeatedly, inviting him 13 times starting in 1989, 11 of those across consecutive seasons. Producers knew he could carry an entire live show, settle a room, and generate laughs effortlessly. His appearances ranged from political sketches like Linda Tripp during the Lewinsky years to Rex Tillerson, balancing live performances with major films such as Argo in 2012 and 10, Cloverfield Lane in 2016, both connected to the Oscars. Goodman's long collaboration with the Coen brothers shaped some of modern film's most memorable moments. From Raising Arizona in 1987, Barton Fink in 1991, The Hudsucker Proxy in 1994, The Big Lebowski in 1998, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? In 2000, Burn After Reading in 2008, to Inside Llewyn Davis in 2013, each role carried a unique weight while remaining unmistakably his. Walter Sobchak in The Big Lebowski became a character quoted for decades, and his frequent Coen brothers appearances, matched only by Frances McDormand, made him a cornerstone of their cinematic world. As he moved through the late 2010s and early 2020s, his relevance never waned. The Connors anchored him in one lane, the Righteous Gemstones in another. His health transformation inspired fans, and his steady growth as a man and actor demonstrated that reinvention can happen at any age. By continually showing up role after role, John Goodman proved something simple but powerful: staying power isn't about clinging to the past. It's about stepping into every new moment with the same honesty, commitment, and integrity that have defined his life and career.